Get your ass and get your things and get out of here.
You're firing me?
I'm firing.
No, yeah, everything's fine. Hey, listen, I quit.
And he did quit his job.
Yeah.
You're gonna need to make a budget. Cancel all of your subscriptions like right now, tonight. Please be recording. I'm recording, yes.
Tech sector shed more than 386,000 jobs in 2022 and the first half of 2023.
And also, just a little disclaimer, this may not work for everybody. I know everybody's situation is different. Some people have kids, but these are just some tips and things that I would do if I were to lose my job, like tonight. Call HR about the proper resignation or termination process to make sure you get paid out PTO. Then review your 401k. After this, you're gonna need to recover from the reality that you just lost your job or that you just resigned abruptly without having anything else lined up. This whole time period can be really, really stressful. It can be sad. It can be overwhelming, especially stressful. You're also gonna need to talk to somebody. You don't wanna bottle it all in and sit in this by yourself. To be honest with you, the amount of time that you have to sit and dwell in this kinda depends on how much savings you have. Almost 50% of Americans don't have any emergency savings, and almost 50% of Americans are living paycheck to paycheck. You really want to try not to panic. You need to plan, you need to create a strategy, and you kind of do need to be strong for yourself. Check your account and see how much you have in there. Take note of what you need to allocate those funds to. Like say if you have a car payment, rent, groceries, the most important necessities, create a budget for that. And I say groceries because you don't want to eat out anymore, okay? You know, it just runs up your pockets. And cook at home because when money's not coming in, it's going out and quickly. So you want to try to limit the amount of money that is just flying out of your pockets as much as you can. But if you need cash, like right now, like rent is coming up and you're a couple hundred short, or you need to pay for something, there's so many little different jobs. If you have a license in a car especially, there's Uber, there's Uber Eats, there's DoorDash, there's Instacart, and these are jobs that you can do that you can make a couple hundred per week. I know there's people who will make up to like between $500 to like something else, like a week with Uber and Uber Eats. So you could be able to make up your rent. Even me, when I was in college, I used to do Instacart. I think at most I made about like $600 in 1 week. That was more during the pandemic times. So I don't know how popular Instacart is anymore. There's all those types of like driving jobs that you can kind of choose how much you make. There's care.com where you could be like a nanny or a babysitter or work with like older people. Like it's basically just being a caretaker. That's you going to other people's homes and taking care of them. And that pays from about like $15 to $45 per hour, depending on what job you accept. Also Amazon, which has flexible shifts, and then you can make about $22 per hour. But there's also Amazon Flex, where you're not inside of the warehouse, like organizing things, but you just use your car. You drop off packages that need to be dropped off like quickly. So you can also do that. And another one is you can also donate plasma. I think for your first time donating plasma, pay about like $120, depending on where you are, like where you live. They'll give you like a little Visa like card, and then you'll be able to use that just about anywhere. So you can do that. The food industry and restaurants are always hiring. In this downtime where you're not at your previous job, you can apply to any restaurant, work at any like cute little coffee shop, and like get some kind of steady or like reliable income while you're working on your next goal. You can also file for unemployment. I know there's some eligibility requirements, and you're gonna have to file for the state that you previously worked in. Moving back home may be the safest bet or a very smart thing to do for at least like a few months while you're trying to get back on your feet. Depending on your savings, your rent costs, and your emotional state, and your relationship with your parents, depending on your job industry, it may take some time before securing another stable position. So moving back home will allow you to not have to pay for rent, and also you got the emotional support from your parents, maybe a little bit of judgment, but the emotional support can outweigh that. You get home-cooked meals, and you don't have to pay for rent. There's a little time period so that you can get back on your feet. Use your parents as a safety net, not a hammock. So that on Dave Ramsey. Keep in mind that if you are gonna break your lease, most apartment buildings want you to let them know 60 days ahead of time if you're planning on breaking your lease. And it costs money to break your lease. Normally, the cost of your rent per month is gonna be the cost that it takes to break your lease. And you gotta let them know ahead of time. So you kinda wanna prepare yourself for that as well. Next, really important thing you wanna think about is if you're above the age of 26, I'm not 26 yet, but I think about this all the time. You want to think about health insurance because you need health insurance, and you want to look into and start researching different ways to get health insurance coverage on your own, because before you were getting that from your job, now you need to get it for yourself. So you're going to need to look into a couple of different health insurance options. You want to go to healthcare.gov, which is like a healthcare marketplace for health insurance provided by the government. A lot of people use it who are unemployed, influencers use it, and people who are not able to afford healthcare may use it. So as soon as you log in, first thing you want to do is register for an account, and then you're going to have to type in, I think, your household income so that it can determine what healthcare insurance plans you're eligible for, and then you're going to be able to select which one works best for you. After all that, you need to fix your resume tonight. Also, now you get to think about, did you like the job that you were working in before? Do you want to work into a different job or change fields? If you want to change career paths, now is the time to do it, because you may have a little bit of time, a month or so, or a few months, to be able to do a lot more research, get a lot of certifications for the next position that you want. There's a lot of things you can do right now to make your resume look a lot better for the next job position. Also, I think this kind of thing can make someone just so stressed out and so upset. Instead of looking at it as a really horrible thing, because that's what it can feel like, you kind of want to switch it and change it into like an opportunity. Now you have some free time to like look into the things that you actually want to do, especially if the job that you were doing before wasn't making you happy. But if you are extremely picky about the next position that you take, which I completely understand, you know, if you're gonna work in a position for a year or so, you wanna really like what you're gonna do. It may take a little bit longer to get the position that you're gonna be satisfied with, which is okay. If you can afford to take that kind of time to just hold off and continue looking, you can do that. But you can also still, like I said before, work a little side job or part-time job, like at a coffee shop or like waitressing to get some extra tips or anything, just so you can have some kind of income while you're working on the next step and the next goal. I've resigned from a position without immediately having something lined up. So I think about this all the time, and it can be very scary and it can be extremely lonely, but you do have to understand that it's gonna be okay. Every issue that you've ever had in your life, any major problem that you thought was such a big deal, you got through it, right? You're sitting here watching this video with me, right? So any issue you've ever had, you solved it technically, right? So you pretty much have a 100% success rate. That's pretty good. Those are, you know, so you'll be fine. If you got 2 legs and 2 arms, even if you don't got that, if you have your health and you're mentally capable, you're pretty much like at a huge advantage in the United States. There's not a lot you can't do if you have that, you know? So just take it easy, okay? These things happen. If a whole lot of doors close, maybe this just was not for me. There are other better doors that are open. It'll help you when you look at it as an opportunity to do something else or do something better that you're gonna like more. Maybe right now you can get up and move across the country like you were always thinking of, and like start a surf school in California and work at a tech company on the side doing tech support. You know, you can make this better than what it is. I mean, I hope you do. So you will be fine, okay? I hope this video helped. It provided some kind of information for anybody that's watching that may be going through this, because I know there were a whole lot of tech layoffs going on and like things like that. I hope this video helped, and thank you for watching.